Hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Laser and today I want to showcase a build for the Dread. Now, the way I approach my builds, my tutorials, is usually a bit more new player friendly, simply because nobody really explained these things to me and I want to explain them to new players as well. So there you go. Anyway, let's talk about the best bow in the game, and I know that's a heated debate. Usually people settle between kind of three bows. You have, of course, the Dread, which you get from the Stalker, and don't worry about it, you're gonna get plenty of blueprints for this one. I think I got like 15 Dread blueprints from the Stalker, but no War, for example. The Stalker will stalk you and you will eventually get the blueprint for the Dread. Another one of the, let's say, best bows in the game would be the Rakta Cernos. Now, the Rakta Cernos is a syndicate weapon, and you're gonna need either syndicate standing or a friend with syndicate standing to get you this bow. There are a lot of differences between these two, and we're not gonna go into the whole heated debate of which is better and all whatnot. Today, we're talking about the Dread. Now, my Dread has the symbol 4 over here. It means it has been formatted 4 times. Now for this build you won't have to format this much. I simply did it because I have a Riven mod for it. So let's jump into the build. There are a few key components to every Dread build for the most part, and I'm gonna outline them, and then we can get to play around a little bit depending on what exactly we're doing with the final mods. So first and foremost, I got a 60 mod capacity and 4 mod. Why the 60 mod capacity? If you guys hop on over here into actions, you will see that a Orokin Catalyst is installed. This will double your mod capacity. Polarization is the way we add a forma, and by the way, if you didn't know, because nobody told me up until recently, you can swap polarity of these symbols. Okay, so if you don't like the way they're arranged, if you want to make specific types of damage, then you can swap them around with this one. It doesn't cost anything too. Useful, no? Also, you can place a lens. What is a lens? Well, later on in the game you're going to be forced to be choosing kind of like a school of magic, let's say a school of the void, and this is how you amplify the XP you get for that specific school of magic. You will have Naramon, Unairu, Varazarim, Zenurik, and of course Madurai, which is my favorite. But in any case, we can divert it a little bit. Let's talk about the Dread. Accuracy 16.7, charge rate 0.5, a critical chance, a whopping critical chance of 50% straight off the bat with no mods equipped. Critical multiplier is only 2, silent of course because it is a bow. Punch through on 2.5, a reload of 0.7, a Riven disposition of, you see here you got 2 little balls out of 5, and people still don't know what this is. Well, some players, not all players. But the point to here is that throughout the game you're gonna be able to get Riven mods, such as this one. These are extremely powerful mods that can be obtained, for example, by doing the sortie. If you don't have access to the sorties right now, don't worry about it, you're gonna get it after you progress further through the story. So the Riven disposition will decide how powerful these Riven mods will be. If you want to know more about Riven mods, I'm going to do a separate tutorial on that. But for this one, because Riven mods are hard to get, we're just going to ignore it. This would be kind of like my main Dread build. Right, so like I said, there are a couple of mandatory mods for Dread. One of them is Point Strike. As you saw here from the base stats, it has a pretty high critical chance, and we want to amplify that even further. So we're gonna pop in a Point Strike. What Point Strike does, as you know, it offers more critical chance. One of the mods that I see some people use is Heavy Caliber. This gives a huge amount of damage, but at the cost of accuracy. I don't recommend it on a weapon that has a low fire rate like the Dread. Okay, maybe if you build in some attack rate, some speed into it, it will be able to attack faster, but I still think that on bows, Heavy Caliber would be a pretty bad idea, as well as critical delay. It gives critical chance, but it decreases fire rate. But serration is 120% mandatory basically on every rifle you use. So we're gonna put in serration, Point Strike, Split Chamber, because it offers multi-shot. What multi-shot means, in case you didn't know by now, it simply fires more projectiles. You fire one, but the bow actually fires 2. This will increase the status chance as well. You see our status chance went from 20% to 34% simply because we put in Split Chamber. More arrows, that means more chances to get the status going and all whatnot. Right, And the final mandatory mod to the Dread will be Vital Sense. We got a high crit chance now. With Point Strike, we went up from 50% all the way to 125%. And we want to make use of those crits. We want to make them do as much damage as possible, which is why we use Vital Sense. So far, so good. These are mods that anybody should have. These are very easy to get. You get them just by playing. You don't have to trade. They don't cost a lot of money and all whatnot. Now, the tricky part is what do you do next, because you should be looking towards amplifying your damage with elemental damage depending on what you do. Let's take the example of the Grenier, because everywhere you go, these guys kind of show up, let's be honest here. They're fairly common. So, against Grenier, what you want to do, and against heavily armored targets, is have corrosion damage. That will reduce their armor. Our status chance right now is only 34.6%, and considering the fire rate of the Dread, not really that good, is it? But we're gonna fix that. So in order to make corrosion damage, we're gonna need electricity, which is why we can use Stormbringer or High Voltage. Now, we're not gonna outline the build with High Voltage, because High Voltage is a fairly expensive mod. This one from the trade chat, you can get it from 50-60 plat. If not, you're gonna have to do an infestation mission on Eris, Naelgar I believe it's called, and you're gonna have to find all the secret caches, and then you have about a 5% chance at getting it. This one and Shell Shock for shotguns. So we're not gonna outline the build with this one. This is a bit more harder to get, but Stormbringer everybody should have, and that's how we're gonna get our electricity. Next, since we have electricity, in order to make corrosion, we're going to need Toxin. Malignant Force is a way to apply Toxin. Now, again, I got this one just by simply playing. I honestly don't remember what it dropped. I think it was a mission in the Void where some weird guy attacked us and this thing dropped. But the point is, again, this is not as common as something as Infected Clip. These are 60-60 mods, which help a lot by increasing your status chance and giving you the element you want. But for this build in particular, we're gonna go with Infected Clip. And you see my damage over here, right under slash, went up to 1.8k corrosive. So we got our corrosion damage. Yay! Now keep in mind that the type of damage you make depends on where you put the mods here. Okay, so for example, if you have Infected Clip next to Stormbringer, like this is gonna make corrosion. If you have other elemental damage types, you're gonna have to be careful exactly where you place them one next to another to get the damage type you want. Just play around with them a little bit and you're gonna see the damage types change over here in the stat screen. Right, these will be the mandatory mods as far as I'm concerned. If you guys wanna go up against Corpus, for example, then I would recommend a gas build, and against shields I would recommend a magnetic build. But a good versatile type of damage would be viral. Viral is decent in most cases, so if you want to just build something that has effect in most circumstances, then you might want to build viral. However, I recommend corrosive. Right, for the final two slots, we got a little bit of headway. Now, you can go with Vigilante Armaments, which right now is a pretty common mod. This will give us 60% more multi-shot and a 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. Now, more multi-shot also means, yes, more status chance is gonna be buffed up all the way to 42.8. Other options include something like fire rate at the end of the day, right? So for fire rate, you can either go for Speed Trigger, which will give you 60%, of course, is twice for both, or Vigilante Fervor. Now, Vigilante Fervor does give you less fire rate. Instead of Speed Trigger, which gives you 60%, Vigilante Fervor would give you 45%, but then you would have the both, you would have 2 out of 6 bonus for Vigilante, and this for me was really fun to run. This is the build I recommend you guys using for the Dread. This, as long as you're more newer to the game. Again, if you have Prime this and Prime that, then by all means use your Prime mods. But this is a very effective build with common mods. Everybody should have these. These are not expensive mods. These are not hard to get. And this would be our base build. But again, you can make a couple of changes if you so desire. A very popular mod currently is Hunter Munitions. 30% chance to apply stash status to an enemy on a critical hit. We got loads of critical hits. We got a 125% chance just with this build alone and a multiplier of 4.4. So we can make great use out of hunter munitions, and we're gonna get those bleed procs. And it is even more effective on the dread simply because the dread is a slash weapon. As you see over here, the slash is 1.2k like this alone. So it's definitely worth it to go for hunter munitions. And if you don't want more multi-shot and you still want to keep that fire rate, then I recommend you drop vigilante armaments and just pick up more fire rate with either speed trigger or vigilante fervor. And well, that's gonna be the build for the dread for the most part. Now we're gonna jump into Simulacrum and see exactly how this turns out. Alright, so this one is with hunter munitions and speed trigger. These are level 100 heavy gunners. Let's see what kind of damage. I fired once and look at that slash proc. Oh my god, the damage. One shot and then I don't have to attack him anymore. He's just gonna die from the bleed proc. Absolutely freaking kick-ass. The impact damage might not one-shot the heavy gunners, but the slash proc absolutely wrecks them. And for these guys which are not as heavily armored, as you can see, they die. Oh, hello. Oh, this is a bombard. Let's see if the actual slash proc is gonna be able to kill him. No, it brings them down to about 30%. One more headshot should do it. Let's try a bit of rapid fire. Alright, so that's how it works with speed trigger and hunter munitions. Let's change it up a bit. And keep in mind that I haven't really been using any of the buffs from Mesa. Now the Mesa does have reload speed, that means it will affect how fast the arrow is being pulled from the quiver, but I don't have any other buffs on, so let's change up the mods a little bit. We're gonna get rid of speed trigger and hunter munitions, and we're gonna go for the combo of vigilante armaments with vigilante fervor. Fervor. Spawn him, Chiconi, let's go, man! Same set. There we go, heavy gunners once again. No, wait, this is a butcher. Let's get to the heavy gunner. As you can see, the impact damage was larger. Okay, much larger impact damage, but without that slash proc, without that bleed, they are no longer dying like earlier. You can see the multi-shots come in, that is awesome, but again, the heavy gunners are no longer dying. So basically what happens now is I have a larger impact, but I no longer have that slash proc, and without that slash proc there's no bleed, and these guys do not die. Okay, a slash proc applied now. I don't have as high of a chance without those hunter munitions, that is. As you see, slash proc can still happen, and there's the corrosion effect right there, the green thing. So the thing about the build right now as it is, if you are going for higher level content, something like you're actually going against level 100 heavily armored units, then I would definitely go for a bit of more slash. Okay, hunter munitions OP, gotta say it. But if you're doing lower level content, then something like a bigger impact I think would be better overall. Now let's change things up one more time. This time I'm gonna be using my main build for the Dread. Now this one differs, like I said, a little bit because I do have a Riven for it, and as my mod of choice mostly I'm gonna be using Vigilante armaments for more multi-shot. As you can see, the Dread Riven that I have offers me 83.8 multi-shot and 166.9 critical chance, so my critical chance went through the roof. It's over 200 at this point, and we're gonna try it like this to see what exactly can we get. Once again, the heavy gunners is what I'm interested in, and there you go, one-shotting a heavy gunner. Almost. Absolutely outstanding. So if you can get a Dread Riven, then by all means keep it. Look at that slash proc, absolutely destroying everything. If you can get a Dread Riven and it doesn't have good stats on it, just keep it because eventually you will be able to reroll it. Absolutely amazing. And from my point of view, this is the bow I like to use the most. Maybe it's not the best bow in the world, maybe others are better depending on circumstances, but for me the Dread is king. And well, that's gonna do it for the build. I guess we can try something else as well. Okay, let's amp up the ante a little bit. Let's spawn in level 145 enemies this time and see how the Dread does against them. Oh wait, these are still level 100, dude. Kill him! Kill him and respawn him! Kill him! Kill him! There we go. See, that was the Dread. I kid. Alright, here we go. Now these guys are level 145. First, the Arid Butcher. Still a one-shot. Still not a problem. Now the Heavy Gunners. As you can see, it barely did like 30% of his total health, but the slash proc now is taken away and it's gonna bring him down to something like 20% total health. Another 145 gunner, there you go, corrosion together with the slash proc. My idea for bows, considering how fast they fire, I really want them to one-shot mostly everything. But as you can see, the higher you reach in level, though to be honest, where are you actually gonna find enemies this big? And you will get one shot, that's also perfectly clear. But yeah, this is just to showcase exactly how much damage the Dread can do. Of course, against the Bombards, we're gonna have the hardest time possible. Now, let's change a little bit the build for the Dread. We're still gonna keep the Riven. Again, this is mostly to showcase what the bow can do. What I want to put on is more slash. I do want the more slash. So what we're gonna do actually in this case is remove Stormbringer and Infected Clip. And we're gonna still have corrosion against these guys, but we're gonna go for the 60-60 mods I mentioned earlier. High voltage together with and Malignant Force. There we go. Thanks to the 15 form I put in, we can still keep... Oh, like this. There. No, we can't put it like that. Oh, damn it. What's the symbol here? There we go, like this. So now we switched it up a little bit. We still have corrosion damage, but we don't have as much as before. Simply because we are using now 60-60 mods. Malignant Force together with high voltage. If you take a look over here, our status chance, however, went up to 85%. And we're gonna switch out Vigilante Armaments for Hunter Munitions. Hunter Munition, there we go. So let's try it against level 145 heavily armored units. Again, keep in mind that I haven't used any Warframe buffs at all, so it can be even higher. Arid Butcher, not a problem. 145 Heavy Gunner, one shot. Slash proc, deleted. Slash proc once again, look at it, chop away at his health. But this one is not going to die. Just gonna have to put another arrow in his head. Another Heavy Gunner. And now for the Bombards. What an amazing weapon this can be. As you can see, you cannot one-shot level 145s, at least not like this, but it does definitely go to town on them. So the point is the slash proc gets even more effective the higher level enemies you face. But once again, where the hell are you gonna find those guys to actually fight them? In a sortie, I'm pretty sure Limbo will show up and cheese the fuck out of it. But yeah, you guys get it. One more thing I want to try. I really want to one-shot those guys. So what we're gonna do is use our Warframe buffs, and we're gonna get Banshee to show us some weak spots. I think that would be a good idea. Now for the next text, we're gonna be using Mirage Prime, simply because she is kind of a weapon master of sorts. So we're gonna activate her free ability and her one ability, and we're also gonna have a Banshee showing us those critical spots. Look at that. Oh my god, the damage. Absolutely bloody glorious, isn't it? And well, that will conclude this test. I gotta say, I love the Dread, and now you should have all the information you need to make the best build possible for your Dread. Rakta Cernos is also one of the best bows in the game, absolutely, and it really depends on what your preference is and what do you plan on doing in the game. Keep in mind that while Lens is definitely an interesting weapon, I don't think it kind of qualifies for your standard bow. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any feedback for me, please, by all means, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm off. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.